Hi, I'm Gary and welcome to Jargon Free Help. Now, I haven't done a few podcasts lately because I've been looking through all your emails and responding to them and just seeing the sort of things that you want. And it sounds to me like you want me to go a bit more in depth and also loads and loads of topics that you want me to cover. Stephen from London has actually asked about backing up. Well, he was one of them. Many of you have asked about it and want to know a little bit more about it. So I would say that backing up is more than just backing up your computers. It's also about backing up devices like these. Now, devices like these are quite straightforward, really, because you just have to plug them in to your computer. These are smartphones. This is the iPhone 4, but all of the smartphones have some software that allow you to plug in and automatically back up. There are other ways to keep those backups as well. For example, I've got mine syncing with Google Calendar, Contacts. I've also got MobileMe as well. That means it backs up wirelessly. As I put information in, it backs it up. I can then retrieve that information on any device with an internet connection. I can go onto the internet. If I add anything on any of those other devices, it also appears here too. So the same, if I add something to this, it appears on my iPad. And this is where things like the cloud are going, and you've probably heard Steve Jobs mention about iCloud, which is something that Apple is introducing that will give you even more options. And this sort of thing can work for documents too. For example, I use Dropbox. Dropbox allows me to access files that I put online, files that I'm working on. They could also be photos as well. Now, Dropbox is great. Just so you know, you do get 2 gigabytes of space free, and then you can pay for more. And the way it works is basically I can install an app onto my Mac or onto my PC, and it will create a folder. Those folders synchronize with my storage space online. So it looks just like a folder on any of my computers. So if I put it on my Windows computer, adjust a file, then I go to my Mac, it's there too. And you can get it for devices as well. So really handy to be able to pick things up. Even if you haven't installed that app, you can still go online, go to the website and upload and download files there. So it kind of works a little bit like a backup, although officially it's not. One of the great things about Dropbox is they do actually have a backup as well. You can pay a little bit extra for it and you can actually retrieve files that you've deleted. So that's just excellent stuff. So not really a backup, but it is backing up your files too. So you're not reliant on your files being stored on your computer. The downside is if you're using large files and then you want to actually be able to synchronize them and you haven't got a very fast connection, that can take time. So speed is important on those things. For backing up online, and you do have different options, you can back up on your computer using an external hard drive or backing up online. Now, the advantage to backing up online is that you're not reliant on storing your hard drive or memory stick or whatever you're storing it on in a safe place, because it's backed up somewhere else. And that is the essence to backing up, is storing it somewhere where your computer or device isn't. That way, if something happens to it, which could be lost, broken, stolen, flood, fire, you name it, your backup is somewhere else. You just go to another computer and you retrieve everything onto that computer. You buy a new computer, bang, your backup is there. You just have to download it. So that is backing up online. A really good product that I do actually use is Carbonite. Last time I looked, it was $59 a year US or £41.95 if you're in the UK. So it does give you an idea of the cost. Just because I've mentioned those countries doesn't mean it's only available in those. It is international, but it gives you an idea on price. And that's per year. That's a bargain in my opinion. Anything goes wrong and you need to get it all back, you may not even need an IT guy to come and get it back for you. And trying to get stuff that you've lost on your computer can be very, very costly. So that's backing up online. Carbonite.com, that's one that I do actually use and do recommend. It's available for the Mac and the PC, so that's just fantastic. So storage online is probably the way that everything is going, although some people are a little bit concerned about some of their files, maybe tax documents, bank statements, things like that, being stored online. Although apparently, according to Dropbox and according to Carbonite, both of them are secure. The downfall is if people can get into your computer, but then they'd see anything anyway. The next options are storing onto a hard drive or memory stick, and some people do like this, and it's faster because you don't have to worry about an internet connection. And for that, you just need, as I said, an external drive, memory stick. You could put it onto CD or DVD, but that's kind of going a little bit out of fashion. Now, if you're using Windows 7, there is a backup system there. I'm going to do a little tutorial so you can see that online very soon. That's really simple. There's a little wizard that talks you through doing it. And what it does is it asks you what files and folders you actually want to back up. And then you run it and it runs on a scheduled basis. Oh, by the way, Carbonite also runs on a scheduled basis. You tell it how often you want it to back up. And like with any backups, which includes the ones on Windows 7 and on the Apple as well, is that it only backs up files that have changed or that are new. So the first time you back up, that's going to be a big backup, but after that, it might not take too long. One word of warning with all of those is things like movie files, they can be really big and take up a lot of backup. So especially online, just be a bit careful with that, and you might need to get bigger hard drives to do that too. So Windows 7, basically it's built in, there's a wizard that talks you through it and you choose which files you want to back up. And again, I'm going to do a tutorial on that. For the Apple, there's Time Machine, and again, that backs up. The difference is on this one, it backs everything else up unless you want to exclude it. So you go into the preferences for Time Machine and you choose which files you want to exclude. So in my instance, I've got a folder called Media Files that's full of movie files, like for creating these podcasts, and they're huge. So I don't want to back those up. I back them up in a different way, just copying them onto another hard drive, but I don't want those. They're just too big and they'll take too long. So again, you can use a memory stick, external hard drive, or you can use a time capsule, which is a wireless device which has got a hard drive, server grade hard drive in it, and it can back up wirelessly. And all of your machines, all of your Macs, if you've got Macs, can all back up to that one single drive, which is just excellent, and you can easily retrieve all of that. And again, I'll be putting a tutorial on there, although Apple does have some tutorials on their website to see about that too. So that's a nice way of doing it, having it wirelessly. Wirelessly, again, slower than if you connect it directly. So that is the only downside. If you're like me and you've got really big files, that can take a bit longer. But I have to say, it's not really a hindrance. And I do use a time capsule with mine. So all of my machines are being backed up. And it's so easy to retrieve them as well. Whenever you do create a backup, just go and have a look to see how easy it is to retrieve the files. A lot of people, including companies, create backups and then they don't go to see just how easy it is to get it back. So that's backing up. So don't forget, devices, phones, iPads, all of those devices really must be backed up. These are so easily lost. If you've been following my podcast, you know that actually my phone got stolen. Not a problem, well, except for the fact that my phone got stolen and I had a finger broken in the whole thing. But basically, all my data was safe, so I didn't have to worry about that. And in moments, I could get my information back. So that's about backing up. Go and have a look at the tutorials on the website, which is jargonfreehelp.com. Look under tutorials. Again, feedback, I'm changing the layout of all of that to make tutorials easier to find. There are loads on there: Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Access, Windows 7, Mac. There's also some video photography, and I'm building that library up. If there are any that you want included, please do drop me a line. A lot of the tutorials and a lot of these podcasts are based on what you've asked for. Thanks for watching, and see you again next week. Don't forget, Jargon Free Help is more than just technology.